This man said, I know y'all tried to clock me with that old video of me saying that I'm a proud Zionist, but you can't even do that because, quote, I make no apologies for that. That's a reality. I also just had a thought bubble. If he's saying that you don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist, implying that there is a non-zero sum of Zionists who are not Jewish, then how is anti-Zionism anti-Semitism? If anti-Semitism is hate or suspicion of Jewish people specifically. Just something I'm thinking about. But this is not surprising, right? Not only did he say it many years ago and is reaffirming it today, we know that he supports apartheid because he supported apartheid here, better known as segregation. I was actually talking to a Vote Blue No Matter Who Gen Xer last week in person, and they were talking about Gen Z's concern of Biden. And one of the things I pointed out was, well, we know he is a segregationist. And they said, oh, that was a long, long time ago, implying that he doesn't still hold those beliefs. But we see those beliefs on full display as he supports an apartheid state. But let's really look into what Joe Biden believes. Joe Biden embraced segregation in 1975, claiming it was a matter of Black pride. Joe Biden, weighing a 2020 White House bid, once advocated continued school segregation in the United States, arguing that it benefited minorities and that integration would prevent Black people from embracing their own identity. But 44 years ago, facing a backlash against busing from white voters, the future vice president voiced concerns not just about the policy of busing, which he had supported when first seeking election in 1972, but about the impact of desegregation on American society. He argued that segregation was good for Blacks and was what they wanted. Quote, I think the concept of busing, that we are going to integrate people so that they all have the same access and they learn to grow up with one another and all the rest, is a rejection of the whole movement of Black pride. Desegregation, he argued, was, quote, a rejection of the entire Black awareness concept, where Black is beautiful, Black culture should be studied, and the cultural awareness of the importance of their own identity, their own individuality. Now, I know there were people at the time that did want to stay within their own Black communities, but they wanted the quality of their education, of their housing, of their facilities to be up to par with their white counterparts. And because that separate but equal was not actually a real thing de facto, they sought better opportunities elsewhere, which leads us to integration. From NBC News, Joe Biden didn't just compromise with segregationists, he fought for their cause in schools, experts say. Joe Biden helped give America the language that is still used to oppose school integration today, legislative and education history experts say. From the same article, in a 1975 Senate hearing, the legendary civil rights lawyer Jack Greenberg had something to say to freshman Senator Joe Biden. Now, just for context, Joe Biden was about 33 years old in 1975. So do not infantilize this man. I am not saying people can't change their mind, but what I am saying is that this man had a fully formed opinion at 33 years old and was a sitting U.S. senator. And that because he supports the apartheid state in Israel right now, I can tell you that his views have not changed. Greenberg, longtime director of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, took Biden to task for sponsoring a bill that would limit the power of courts to order school desegregation with busing. It was a move that followed the wishes of many of Biden's white constituents in Delaware. The bill, quote, heaves a brick through the window of school integration, end quote, said Greenberg, one of the lawyers who had won the Brown v. Board of Education case that ended legal school segregation 21 years earlier. And according to Greenberg, Biden was the man with his hand on the brick. Now, how does that relate to Israel? From Al Jazeera, Jim Crow is alive and well in Israel. Long before Israel erected separate communities, the United States perfected the art of the artificial divide. Long before Israel erected separate communities divided by will of law to segregate its Jewish citizens from its almost 2 million Palestinian Arab ones, the U.S. perfected the art of the artificial divide. With the accuracy of delusion from coast to coast could be heard the refrain that race-based segregation was lawful as long as the facilities provided to each race were equal. For decades, the legal fiction of separate but equal was the mantra that state and local governments throughout the U.S. held out to justify the artificial, indeed lawful, separation of tens of millions of Americans on the basis of race and nothing more. I also did a video of him co-authoring the largest crime bill in American history, which disproportionately impacted Black and brown communities, which exacerbated the mass incarceration problem, led to the U.S. getting exponentially more cheap and free labor from Black bodies, a continuation of slavery under the 13th Amendment. So I just continue to urge Blue MAGA and Vote Blue No Matter Who folks to actually consider who you are doing your bidding for. Because we can talk about harm reduction, but harm reduction for who? We could talk about strategy, but strategy that benefits who? Because this man fundamentally altered elements of race relations in the United States in regards to segregation and mass incarceration. Some of the biggest crises that face Black and brown folks even to this day. He has been busy for well over 4 decades. It hasn't been to the benefit of people that look like me. And like I say, all of these things are moot points if our planet continues to look like that fuck-ass birthday cake, which is also something he clearly doesn't give a fuck about, as he approved the Willow Project, as he ignored climate activists to continue the building of the South Border Wall, as he allows projects like CP2 and those like it to continue to flourish, leading to the decimation of the planet as we know it.